Here we go, another nice little chunky spotted bass. Oh, these guys are feeding up good here. Here in a little bit I want to talk to you about a bait. If you haven't used it, it's just another bait in the toolbox. And that is a little zoom fluke stick. I'm going to show you two of my favorite ways to rig it. It works really good. Right behind me, this is a point. It's a point. It's kind of a flattened out point, and it runs way out here, and it stays shallow way out here to like 7-8 feet. And what these bass are doing, there's a lot of bait running over the top of this point. And all I'm doing is casting on the other side of the point, dragging up one side, across the top and down the other. And that's how I'm getting the bites. I'm actually getting them way offshore here, nowhere near the real shallow part or the edge of the point. I'm throwing, probably 50, 60 feet outside that point, and that's where I'm getting my bites. Right on that point again. Almost right over the top of that point. Pretty nice chunky one here. Just sitting basically right on top of that point. It's always nice when the bass let you know where they are. I'd have to say this morning's been relatively easy. They have definitely let me know exactly where they are today. I don't know how many I've caught. I've probably caught 20 already. Probably at least 20. Who knows? And if it wasn't going to get so hot, this could be a 50 to 100 fish day. But not sure I'm going to stay out that long. That hot weather, it's not my favorite thing, even though the bass are biting really good in it. When it gets super duper hot, I'm gonna have to get out of here. Right, that same area caught the last one. I lost one just a second ago. This guy was right on top of that point. This is a fighter right here. Oh, this is a nice one. Woo, this is a big one here. I do not want to lose him. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Come here, get in here. Wow. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Now this, oh man, that's a big bass right there. I'll have to get the scale on this guy. Well, that's a nice one right there. Four and a half. Nice 4.5 spotted bass sitting right on top of that point. Man, that's a monster right there. When you consider I'm fishing a lake that the biggest spotted bass on record out here, I think, is 5.2. Got a couple of 5-pounders. That 4.5 pounder is no joke. These guys that fish tournaments out here, that's what they're looking for. How about a sunfish? How about a sunfish running where I just caught that 4.5 spot. Look where that 4.5 spot may be after to eat. On this point right here, right directly out the side of the boat, there's a little pile of rocks. I can feel them. There's probably about 10, 12 little rocks in there. There's bass hanging right around just that one area. I can feel it with this weight. When I go over the top of those rocks, I can feel it hit those rocks, and that's when I'm getting bit. Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I want to go over one of my favorite baits. This is a Zoom Fluke stick. Color I'm using today is Green Pumpkin Magic. This is a 5-inch stick bait. It's got a little tail on it. And I gotta tell you, the bass really go crazy over this thing. Now I use this bait in 2 ways today, and it's my 2 favorite ways to go ahead and fish this bait. I got some of these that I preset before I got out here. I preset them yesterday. The first way I use for deeper water. If I'm going out, say past 10, 15 feet, I'm gonna use this because it gets to the bottom relatively quick. Simple Neko Rig. Glue a little nail in there, got my O-ring, and I'm using a size 2 Gamakatsu drop shot hook with a 10-pound test Seagar and Vizix fluorocarbon line. So it's gonna look like this. And the way I use this thing today, in fact I used both techniques, the retrieval was the same, is I just took this bait and I would just drag it along the bottom. So when I'm dragging it along the bottom, that little tail's just gonna hop around, and I gotta tell you, they went crazy over it. The other way that I rig this bait is I'll take a jig head. This is about a 3/16 ounce. This is a shroom head from Z-Man. And what I do is that these worms right here, just like any soft stick bait, is gonna have an egg sac. And right at the top of the egg sac there, I'll take my scissors and I'll cut about 1 inch of this worm off, making it a 4-inch worm. Super duper easy to use. I did both of these techniques the exact same way. It's just this one here was for more shallow water, the other one was for more deeper water. And all I do is I just let it hit the bottom, lift my rod tip and drag it about maybe a foot, 1.5 feet at a time, reel my slack in, drag it. I didn't do any twitching or anything. All I did was just drug it along about a foot, 1.5 feet at a time, reel in the slack, drag it, and that's exactly how I worked both these baits. Now, the 4.5 pounder I caught was on the 4-inch, and he was right up here shallow. He was about, I'm gonna say no more than 6 foot of water. And you know, I caught a sunfish right after, so I know what he was after. He was feeding on sunfish, and those bigger bass will go after those sunfish. So these 2 techniques, the Zoom Fluke stick, it comes in all kinds of colors. I've got them in, you know, June bug, watermelon, green pumpkin colors. I've got them in shad based colors if I'm in real super clear water. But I gotta tell you, it's one of the best stick baits out there for the 2 techniques that I use it for. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.